Hey, hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Okay, I don't know what's going on with the Friday right now, but I'm so excited to actually do this broadcast because I have a very special guest. And of course, right, we always want to check our channels and make sure everything is doing good. All right, so let me just make sure everything is good and we are live. Hey guys, my name is Joanna. I am the founder of EmpowerSoft as well as a Canva verified expert, and I'm so excited to actually have a very lovely guest for today. Our guest is a fellow Canva verified expert. She is based in Canada, and this is what I love during the past 2 weeks to actually met fellow Canva experts and just getting to know them as well. And with 20 years of experience in website development, she transitioned and focused on empowering entrepreneurs, particularly with the use of Canva. Who doesn't love Canva, right? So we have our guest, Brenda Cadman. How are you? Welcome to our Facebook Live that's supposed to be recorded
I
now
know.
live. I don't know what
we,
happened.
we just go with the flow. It's
Yes.
all
So
good.
yeah, so I mean, I did a quick introduction. I really am so thankful that you said yes to this because I was trying to do an interview during the event in LA,
Right.
but
Yeah.
everyone was just so busy, right? So I just want to learn because one of your expertise as a Canva verified expert is one thing that I know a lot of entrepreneurs will need. So, but before we dive into that, can you tell us more about your journey as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, and also as a Canva verified expert?
Well, you mentioned in the intro there that I had 20 years experience as running a website development company, and that has been the majority of my kind of entrepreneurial life. Um, I ran an agency that specialized in website development, especially WordPress development. Before that, I co-owned a digital marketing agency for about 8 years. Um, and I just realized it was fall 2022, and it had been about a year of dragging my feet, knowing that the decision needed to be made, that I was ready to do something else, and that I had already been involved in Canva at that point, and that's where I was feeling myself really pulled. And you can't do a million things at once. You need to be able to choose and focus. And I was ready to finally start focusing on my own projects, my own content development, and to, you hand off my clients to somebody else to take good care of them. So I closed the website development company. And since that point, I've been 100% focused on Canva education and particularly on Canva organization, which is the area of Canva that I have a special niche that I don't think anybody else has.
Yes, and once I know we've followed each other, I've followed you. I know that's one thing, but like it is a hot mess when I look at my own Canva right now, and I can go
Mhm.
into the rabbit hole of like, where's that file? And then
Yeah.
changes. I mean, with the Canva create, right? 2025, a lot of things happen. Interface can change. And
Mhm.
for me, I love the dark mode of Canva. And like, hold on, where is this? Where is this? Right. So it indeed is can be overwhelming. But shifting from 20 years of website development is indeed a big bold move, and really was it hard? Was it really kind of like letting go of that and really now focusing on Canva education?
I mean, on one hand, it feels like it was a big shift because it had been part of my life for so long. But I think mentally, I had already made the leap to something new, and it wasn't going to something completely new at that point because I had been part of been a Canva verified expert. Prior to that, I'd been a Canva certified creative, which is probably when we met originally. I joined that program in 2019, I think. But I'd been using Canva since 2014 to create, all of my social graphics and my marketing materials and all those sorts of things because I had been a course creator since 2014 and I needed something to help me create slides and all those various things. But I also, the organization piece of it comes very naturally as well because prior to that website development company, I also worked I had a business as a professional organizer, and I
Mhm.
specialized in creating filing systems for business owners and for professionals, doctors, lawyers, etc. So that, the use of Canva and teaching organization and helping people get organized, it really felt like such a natural shift. It was unusually easy to
Mhm.
just finally send that last email saying done. But it's probably because it has actually been about 1 or 2 years of prepping and slowly moving towards that, letting certain services go, letting certain clients go, and just easing into it. And then suddenly it was a clean break. And honestly, looking back, I think the timing was just right, and I have not had one moment of regret. If anything,
Wow.
it's been really, really liberating, and I actually have fallen in love with running a business again, which I think I was losing that um, excitement
Oh yeah,
a
I
lot.
can
So
I can attest to that sometimes that
yeah,
I just wanna can I just close my laptop right now and just like go on the
yeah,
next road? But no, let's stick it out. Let's see what we can do right now. Let's move. You kind of shared a little bit of our moments that we became Canva experts, right? Was the first program, the Canva certified creative. That was really fun.
yeah,
That was really something of a great opportunity that came into our lap during that year.
yeah. I'm not even sure when that program started, and it was also invite only. And I
Yes,
remember Charmaine was in charge
yes.
at that point, and I remember when I first learned about this program, and I'd been teaching how to use it and creating a lot of content with it, and I started dropping into her inbox saying, "So, hi," and you just kind of got to get on the radar of the right people, and
Mhm.
then demonstrate some consistency, and that this is something you're teaching people and that you bring something to the table. And fortunately, I was accepted into that program, and I've loved deeply loved the association with this organization. It's I mean, like you said, who doesn't love Canva? Anybody who's in business is using it, and it's fun to be a part of helping them to learn how to use it more efficiently to do the things they want to do. So,
Yes, and I think that's a very important, especially when you're really passionate for a certain product or a certain service or maybe a certain person that you kind of resonate with, right? The love that we give out and just we enjoy it. That's also how I started. I was told about it because I was learning about the concept of personal branding because I was
mhm.
grabbing graphics from Pinterest, from Google, said, hold on, there ought to be a better way, right? And Canva came about, and just like the next thing we know is for me, I love the in person. I kind of love the in person touch of just teaching more rather than online. And
Mhm.
that's where I kind of boil down with my Canva education. Now, one of your expertise, if you have said, is more on the organization because it can
Yeah.
really be overwhelming, right? But first off, let's say, what is the biggest mistake that you see small businesses owners make in using Canva, especially when they are now designing their assets inside Canva?
I mean, a couple of the big ones are not taking advantage of the organization features, and just it's initially when you start creating designs, it feels very manageable if you just have a small set of them to scroll through and find what you're looking for. But if you are creating a lot of content over time, that scroll gets longer and longer, and it is really hard to find what you're looking for. And I don't, you talked about going down the rabbit hole. It is very easy. It's a lot of fun to go in there, start creating, and suddenly what should have taken you 15, 20 minutes, it's 2 hours later. And you have, if you're a business owner, you have a lot of other things you not only have, you know, can be doing, but you really should be doing. And I want to help people to be able to get in, create their content, and get out and go do the things that they need to do. So, not taking advantage of creating custom folders and creating a filing system is a big problem. But part of being organized and time efficient in Canva also is taking advantage of the features that are available to them. And I see a lot of people still not taking advantage of that brand kit. And
Yes.
I think it's really critical to make sure that you've got your brand set up, you've got your colors and your logos and your fonts and brand imagery, and then load it all into that brand kit, because it is going to be such a big time saver to have that right at your fingertips rather than having to chase down various brand assets, here and there and everywhere. So those setting that up as well, I think is a step a lot of business owners are missing.
Yeah, and especially as they elevate the brand kit folders, right? Before it was just like your colors, your fonts, and all
Yep.
of the basic things, and then they came into the images, your brand, and then
Yeah.
more folders and more everything. And now it's really on one panel, and that's so true, especially for service provider using Canva, designing for other clients. The more organized you are, the simpler it is that your life is gonna be, especially when
Yeah.
you've been using it like you've said 2014, right? And then
Mhm.
from my end, I think 2016, early 2017. So it's really just like, whoa, we that's a lot of files if you use that one every day,
It
right?
it is, and you don't need to be using it for 10 years to have a lot of content. There's certainly a lot of people fall into the category of power
Mhm.
creators that are using it on a daily basis. You know, it's one of the tabs that they always have open because they're creating all their social content and their lead magnets and their blog graphics and all of these things. And it just suddenly, if you're looking for that one presentation you designed, 6 months ago, that it would be a huge time saver to be able to just duplicate it and adjust it for your current presentation. If you're now having to spend 20-30 minutes trying to scroll it for it because you don't remember what you named it, so you can't search for it, and it kind of looks like a bunch of other stuff, so you're opening designs, whoops, that's not it, opening another design, you're wasting a ton of time.
Yes.
And whereas if you had a clear system and you knew where you had stored it, or you knew what you had named it, you could pull it up, duplicate it, or even better yet, if this is a presentation you give on a regular basis, turn it into a brand template so that it's always at your fingertips and you know you're never going to accidentally overwrite something or use the wrong version. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. How many times I've like, oops, where was that original file? And especially if like it's version one and one and one and 1.1, like, hold on,
Yes.
this is just like
Yeah.
crazy. Now, so from the very beginning, right? So when you go to the main interface first, when you logged in, that's the
Hmm.
very first set, right? All of your latest design is there, and then you then
Hmm.
have all the folders. Do you create the folder first on what you're doing, and then you open the editor? Tell us a little bit about like kind of your organization when somebody's thinking, okay, I want to do a social media graphics content right now for the month of May as they
Hmm.
prepare for next month, right? Tell us a little bit about that process. So we've mentioned about the brand kit or the brand folder,
Hmm.
so that will be a good step. Tell us a little bit about how you organized and your process.
It really comes down to sitting down and figuring out how a couple of things. What am I creating? What
Hmm.
sort of content am I creating? And how do I look for information? So, a typical business owner is likely going to have a folder. I don't know a business owner that doesn't have some sort of social media presence. I mean, whether you're only on LinkedIn or you're on all the channels.
Yes.
Um, so having a primary level custom folder called social media, it's general enough that it belongs at a top level. I don't like to see really highly specific folders at that top level. I don't your primary folders on your projects page should not be changing over on a regular basis. So I wouldn't have like a May folder um, on at the top. I would have just social media. I might have a presentations folder. I have an archive folder that I keep on there because there's no native archiving kind of functionality, but sometimes there's content that you're probably not going to use, but it's hard to let go of. Some of us like to hoard templates or hoard digital assets that we think we might use in the future. We're afraid to let go of, but you really don't want it necessarily creating additional visual noise and clutter when you're trying to actually
Mhm.
find things that you do need. So having an archive folder on projects that you can kind of put all that stuff away into, so you have the peace of mind that it's there. And then a year or two down the road, if you're like, I haven't opened this in a year, you're going to feel more confident potentially of clearing that out and letting it go. And I mean, like I said, it depends on the kind of content you're creating. So there are some folks, if you have I don't have clients now, so I don't have a clients folder. When I did have clients, I did have a clients folder. So some may have clients and then break that down into subfolders, one for each, client.
Yes.
I also am a very big advocate for creating a photos or images folder in projects because, as many people know,
Hmm.
you can't, there's no way to add categorization or folders
Yes.
in the uploads folder. But because it's uploads, it's a default folder. There's this assumption that that's where you have to put all of your uploaded brand assets and images, and it just becomes this bottomless pit.
Mm-hmm.
So the reality is, though, you can move the images in there into custom folders. So create yourself an image filing system as well and clear that folder out, because you are never going to find something from 2 years ago that you're looking for if you are just loading it all in there, and you're going to end up just uploading the same image multiple times.
Yes.
So
Yeah, and really one of the things also that I really love within, once you created your project folder, right? And then go through depending on like what you said, depending on what project you have, because
mhm,
there are three, like for me, like for us, right? There are either three main assets. You have the images,
mhm,
you have the videos, and then we
mhm,
have the audios. And the more you understand where it goes, it's easier to find. And we do have a tendency of downloading, uploading, and then we're not even labeling the assets that we upload,
right.
right? And now, like, image 1 2 3 4 5, or video mp3 one, add one, like, hold on, where is that? But of course, right, with Canva, you can always do the search, right, like image, or and then if
Yep.
you go into that, it makes it much more easier. Now, one other thing that I always love is that when now we're in the editor part of Canva, is even making sure labeling it accordingly is one way of organizing. Do you have a certain
Yep.
tip on how you label files and then all of the, multiple pages as well? Tell us a little bit about that process.
Um, so there's no one size fits all strategy for naming your files, because it really does come down to how would you search for that information, and multiple different people could search for the same file in multiple different ways. So understanding who's going to be looking for that information, it's going to be more important if you have a team to make sure that you have some sort of standardized system of how you name things, because otherwise everybody's going to have their own way of doing it. But making sure that it's keyword rich. So if you did go and search for it later, if you know even if you do have a filing system set up in projects, sometimes the fastest way to find something is to just search for it. But if you haven't named it in a way that you can retrieve it and find it easily, that's going to make it difficult. The good news is that, some time ago, Canva did change it so that it is searching in the body of the designs as well, not just the file name. So that gives you a little extra flexibility, that at least if you know that that client's name is in the body of that document, even if it's not in the file name, that it's likely going to come up. But I do think just being, making sure that those keywords are in there, make sure that you are, trying to standardize it. So if you are, let's say you're creating lesson slide decks for a course, that, they all are consistent in how they're labeled. So if, it's maybe module one, module one, lesson two, that there's a consistency, so that when you're sorting them alphabetically, that you can see what's what really quickly, what's missing.
Mhm.
So I think that that's important. Then you talked about, naming the pages. That's really important as well if you're going to be downloading content, because if you don't rename them, it's going to download as 1 2 3 4 5. And then you have to open every single one to see which is the one that I'm looking for. So for example, I have a master design for all of my YouTube thumbnails for 2025. So I'm not leaving those blank. I don't want it to download as 4.jpg. I want it to download as, YouTube thumbnail dash, you know, the new all-in-one, visual editor.
Yes.
So that when I go, because I'm downloading a whole bunch of content at once, I want to be able to go back and easily find that one. So when I'm uploading it to YouTube, I know where the thumbnail image is really easily. So taking advantage of labeling those pages, it's another step, but
Yes.
it's going to save you so much time in the future. 100%.
Totally, totally at all, because like once you have, like, for example, sometimes, because I really have like a master file for YouTube thumbnail as well, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like already like 133,
Yeah.
and like, hold on, which one is that? So it does take a little bit time, and then when you extract it all in one page, of course it's going to be a zip file, and then once you
Yeah.
open it, it's like 1 2 3 4 5, but then when you edit it, right, to 501 5, like, hold on, which one is this? And trust, I bet most of our viewers as well will be agreeing, like, yep, there's a different version for every
Yeah.
design. Sometimes it get overlap as well, right? So yeah, and I think it's very important indeed to organize from the beginning when you're
Yeah.
starting a project, the more easier. And you've mentioned one thing as well, is that when you're sharing it with your team members,
Mm-hmm.
when you have already a system, it really just creates more streamline and much more easier as well.
Well, I think it's easy to fall into a trap if you are the only person, and
Hmm.
it's not so much a trap. Like if you can find what you're looking for quickly and without frustration, I'm not here to say that you have to do it the way that I do it. There, like I said, no one size fits all solution for organization. And that's why it does frustrate me a little bit when I see content out there saying these are the 5 folders you need to have on Canva. And it's not true. I mean, maybe those folders make sense, but maybe they don't for somebody who is looking for content in a different way, who's creating different kinds of content.
Yes.
So I think it's important to, especially though, like I said, if you are able to find what you're looking for really quickly, really easily, it's not slowing you down. Even if you're not big on folders and you can find what you need through searching, you do you. But if
Yes.
you have a team, they're not in your head, and you need to give them, you know, give them some help. Make sure that you've organized it at least in a way that they're going to be able to find things. If you're sharing a folder, that folder has been broken down in a way that they can easily find the assets and the content that they need to do their job, so they're not bottlenecking the process, and the
Yes.
things are consistently named so they know that they can search for a file and find it easily. So I mean,
Yes.
take some pity on your team. Make sure you're organized from
Yeah,
the beginning.
true. And then you know how sometimes where you have to share it with your team, so now they have it, and then you can
Yeah.
share the whole folder actually. So when you design it, you
Yeah.
put it in a folder, and then you share the folder to the whole team. Now you have all of those assets as well. So what do you think is Canva's like Canva feature that is either underrated or underused? Do you have a certain like you think, or what do you think?
I mean, I love I keep coming back to those damn folders. I love the folders because so many people are not using them.
Yes.
But there's also some hidden little um, ways of being more efficient. My hands down, my most popular
Hmm.
tutorial on YouTube
Yes.
is one that teaches people how to copy pages from one design to another. You can do one at a time. You can take chunks of pages and copy them into another design. And there's no like really clear way to do it, but it is actually very, very simple. It's just a
Yep.
matter of opening both of those designs up in grid view,
Hmm.
and then just selecting the pages in one, using the copy shortcut on your keyboard, and then open the next design and paste it in. Select where you want it to go, paste it in, and that's it. It's literally that simple. But it's not super intuitive for
Yeah.
some people. And as soon as they see it, that right there saves them so much time, because otherwise they're trying to copy and paste individual elements over, they're trying to recreate pages. And being able to do this allows you to potentially even pull together multiple pages from multiple presentations and create a master template for a presentation. And these little features, I like the things they're not necessarily the flashy sexy animations and things like that, but they're the things that allow you to do your work faster
Hmm.
and more efficiently and effectively. Because Canva may be most of what Canva's like most of my life,
Yes.
but it is my job, it is my business. But for most people, it's supposed to be a tool that helps them do something else, and I don't want to see them taking a lot of extra time in the platform to create what they need to create. I want them to get in, find what they need to do, create it, and get out and go do the much more important work that will actually move the needle for them.
And it's so funny. Actually, that's the same thing that I was thinking because I love that one. So when you are all in the editor
Oops.
of Canva, right? So you look for the folder called projects, and then
Yeah.
you will then within the project, it will actually give you all of your latest like designs that is
Yeah.
editable. Okay. This is not just like, and you can also do this one when you go to templates, right? And you just select and then you add those sections to
Yeah.
whatever section you want or the page in your editor, and it's really faster. Like I love it. Like I can just, especially with the change of Instagram to the 1:4:5, sorry, the new dimension. I was
Yeah.
like,
Portrait
oh
mode.
my, of
Yeah.
course, right, we had the resize, which is one of my favorite, but then like, oh, just copy it and then just all of those elements as well. So that is one of those hacks. So let us know if you're watching this one, whether in a replay or live, what are your Canva hacks that you actually love, or what you love that is kind of underrated that you really use a lot and you really love a lot as well. So we have just been to LA, which is
Yeah.
a blast. And now our WhatsApp are crazy with all the
Yeah, I'm gonna have to mute it because it's blowing up my phone.
yeah, that was like, oh my gosh, that was just so some amazing experience. So what are you like like of course us, right? Use particularly as well as a Canva verified expert, right? All new features gets rolled out. And for
Yep.
us, the thing with us with Canva verified expert is that we do have some parameters when we enter this program, right? We test things, and sometimes we don't announce it right away because we are within that parameter, making sure everything is good and ready to go. But as a business owner or somebody who really loves Canva, how can you stay on top of all of the features? Of course, for us, we have amazing Ryan. Shout out to Ryan. We
Mhm.
always get the slide deck. But for you yourself, how do you like kind of like, oh, keep up with everything that's being rolled out?
I don't. I mean, the reality is that it's impossible to do because as soon as there's always something, there's these big new features that come out, and I try, all of us obviously try to stay on the big developments, but there's
Yeah.
constantly refinements happening. There's also, you know, updates that are happening that don't get announced that are just improvements and things. Um, I accepted some time ago that I'm never going to be the first one to have a YouTube tutorial teaching how to use something. And that's not what I'm known for, anyways. I know there's a lot of great other verified experts. I mean, Ronnie and Diana are machines in terms of they've got an incredible YouTube channel and they always are very quick at getting that content out. I tend to focus more on, okay, let's slow down and figure out which of these, how are these going to help you, be more organized? How are these
Yes.
things going to help you be more efficient with your workflow? And it means I don't necessarily highlight all of the new features that'll come out because I know other people will take care of sharing about those. But I always try to focus on how can we use this in a way specifically that will achieve certain outcomes. So for example, the only tutorial I've put out since being back from Canva Create about the new features is the new all-in-one, the visual editor, and the ability to have multiple sized files and pages in a single design, which is amazing. That's something that a lot of people have been asking for a long time. But of course, my angle on it is, okay, how's this going to help you be more organized? Well, you're not going to have, 5 or 6 different designs to create the different variations for a social graphic. You can
Yep.
have all of those in a single one, which reduces clutter and makes it easier for you to find what you're looking for. So I'm always looking at which features are going to allow you to do that, which improvements are going to allow you to do that. And I took the pressure off myself in terms of trying to make sure that everything that I'm sharing, every single new feature. But I think the typical users, well, they don't have the benefit of knowing what's coming and having these slide decks, summaries of what to look for. And you don't have to know every new feature either. I think just having a really solid foundation, understanding the basics, and if you know what you need to know to create the content you need to create, if it's working for you, then that's fine. You don't know what all the new animations or transitions are, all the new video features, because it's not necessary. You're never going to be able to be on top of it. It's
Oh,
just not possible.
so true. I mean, just the number of apps right now that is behind Canva, all the features,
Yes.
right? Like,
Nope.
but the good thing about those rollouts actually is that if you have something of an idea on mind, then you can just do a search and then oh, it's available there, right? And I love how you really boil down. Will this provide more organization
Mhm.
to the user? Will this provide efficiency for the
Yes.
design or for the process? And I really do like, for example, the visual suite that got upgraded, right? A 2.0. Now I can do because we do brand guides, right? So we have all our brand guides, we have the guidelines, and then some assets. Because before we have multiple, so now I can do the first set of guidelines. And here's your Instagram, here's your X, Y, and Z, and your
Yep.
assets, and it's just going to be in one link. And now it's up to the client if ever they want to implement that one as well too, right? I know there's a lot of things especially in being the Canva verified expert in Canada together with Melissa. I think two
Mhm.
two of you are in Canada,
Just
right?
the two of us.
Yeah,
Yep.
just the two of you in Canada.
Yep.
We have verified expert from where? Spain, Australia, where else? Like Brazil, Ireland, like oh my gosh, we're all over the place.
We're
So
all
that
over. Yeah,
when we came about to
it was
LA, like
wild.
that was like crazy. And
It felt like that first happy hour. The first thing I thought of is my Zoom screen just came to life all of a sudden, because all these faces that I've become so familiar with over the years, and it didn't feel, it felt kind of weird, but it didn't feel weird. It felt easy and natural, and everybody hit it off immediately, and it felt like being on a summer school trip kind of thing. It felt like camp almost. It felt like Canva verified expert camp. And to be fair, certain people were behaving as if it was.
yeah,
I say no names.
especially the bus, like the bus, the trip, we're really like kids. Like
Yeah,
we have like, is it Kara? We have Kara in front, and then we
and
have
Ryan.
Ryan at the back, making
Yeah,
sure like, is anyone lost? Is everyone here?
yeah.
Like, where are you? Like David got lost. Like David, if you're listening this one, yes, we are. Like we're already inside the studio, right? So there's really a lot of things, and we want to give a shout out, of course, for Canva for allowing us to be part of the program and being able to share our passion for Canva, because we love the core values of Canva, right? Making complex simple, all of these things that they really bring to, and that's what we would love for business owners to have. So if you have some tips on, again, I know you have given a lot of tips when it comes to organization and how to do things. For someone who's a bit overwhelmed with like, oh my gosh, there's just too much now because I was not organized from the very beginning. Like, what are the first step that you recommend today, besides what you have shared? Maybe any other things that you would love, or you want to emphasize again what you've shared.
I think if you are, listen, people tend to fall into two camps when it comes to wanting to take control of their, if they identify as having kind of a hot mess Canva account, there's a ton of clutter, and they're like, my God, I don't know what to do with this. They fall into two camps. One is, all right, I'm ready to do something about this. Let's get in. Let's delete what we don't need. Let's create a filing system. They're ready to go and they want to tackle it. And then there's a lot of people who look at it and think, oh hell no. They're the overwhelm, the they just don't have the mental or emotional bandwidth to deal with it. So it keeps being one of those things they'll tackle down the road, and then down the road never comes.
Yep.
And I think if the best that you can do really is select your stuff and shove it into a folder that's like organized later, so you can start with a clean deck going forward, do that. If you're not able to file what's already there, but you want to start filing stuff moving forward and create some folders, just start by creating a couple of folders. You don't have to get the perfect organization system. You just need something to start creating homes for the content that you're creating.
Yes.
You'll know quickly if you've got folders that are working for you, because if you're feeling it difficult to maintain it, then it's probably not the right structure. But I think sometimes folks just need a little framework. I do have a free Canva organization roadmap that'll give people kind of 5 steps to get started, to start tackling it. Maybe I'll give you the link to that if folks are interested in that. And I find the vast majority of people I talk to, just having that little framework of, okay, here's 5 steps you're going to take to start putting some order to this and getting it under control. The lion's share of people that's all they need, and they're off and running, and they're good to go. So
yeah, that's so true. And for sure, Brenda has been a verified expert since 2018, 2019. You have a lot of resources, so please do check out her website. You can actually really even work with her. So Brenda, tell us a little bit about what services you offer and what you can do for business owners, right? Especially when they want now 2025 mid-year, right? Almost 6 months in, but
no, I'm not ready for it to be mid-year yet. We just started.
So if they want to get organized, how can they work with you, whether it's paid or free resources? Tell us a little bit about that.
So the only offers that I have are related to organization now. But if you're just looking for content, if you're wanting to do everything on your own, and you're just looking for some guidance, there's no shortage of free content on that website. You will find, and there's more coming. And I've actually just started also a series on YouTube called the 5-Minute Canva Organization Audit, where I'm auditing real accounts and giving feedback. And I think just even binging that will give people a lot of ideas on, okay, that's the kind of thing I should be looking for. But if you do need a little more guidance, if you want somebody just to sit down with you and go, okay, this is how I would break this down, and this is what I think needs to be done to get this under control. I do have consulting. And then I also work with a couple of clients a month where I actually do it for them. And I go in and just overhaul the whole account and then hand it back to them all pretty and clean, and they're good to go.
There you go, right? Make it more easier for you to work with Brenda, or whether it's a free content through her website. She has a lot. She has courses and also paid services. So that's why I'm so excited to really share her services as well as a Canva verified expert, because we have, I think we're are we currently 48 or 50 right now?
I think it's,
Well,
I'm not even sure. It's around 45-ish, I think, at this point.
yeah. So
Yeah, I think 45.
yeah, I was like, "Ooh, all right." So there's really a lot, right? We differ from our expertise as well, just like you, kind of just choosing our battle on which Canva features and Canva expertise we want to highlight. But Canva has really changed my life. It started, I have no background in design, nothing at all. Canva was the one that opened a lot of our design services, and still the number one tool I use for my Canva design, except for other things
100%.
that needs more intense platform, right? So yeah, so please do make sure we are going to drop the website as well in in the description down below. And Brenda, if you have any specific, we are also going to do that one for them to
Yep,
help if you have
ready.
any downloadables and everything as well. Well, Brenda, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I know this went from recorded to live, but as you
I
can,
know. That's fine. We just roll with it.
we
It's
just
all
roll
good.
it. So yes, so make sure to follow Brenda on social. She has amazing content. You will surely learn a lot when it comes to organization. All right, Brenda, thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend.
Great. Thank you.